Welcome to edition 3 of the X-Rays Forensics quick guide in video form. This one is about reporting noteworthy files. As you might recall from the last edition, it is of course possible in X-Rays Forensics to tag files, that is specifically to fill in this box. This, however, should not be confused with a means of actually identifying files as being relevant to the case. That is what report table associations are for. In order to create one of these, all you have to do is select the files you wish to add to such a report table. And having made your selection of one or several files, simply right-click your selection and choose Report Table Association. Within this dialog, you will potentially already find some report tables before you've created your own. Those should be shown in a fainter grey color. X-Rays Forensics automatically adds files to report tables if they possess certain properties. This, however, is nothing to do with what I am planning on doing here, specifically adding files to my own report tables, which for that purpose, of course, I first have to create. So click on New. And give your report table a name of your own choosing. X-Rays Forensics initially makes a couple of suggestions just to give you an idea as to what report tables could be used for. And with this report table, now created and selected, click on Create. What we're going to create is the association with the report table in question. So click on Create, and for all the files you've chosen, you should now see a green triangle indicating that they have indeed been added to the report table. To add further files to the same report table, all I would have to do is repeat the steps. That is, select the files I want, right-click them and choose Report Table Association, selecting the same report table again. You will of course realize that this very quickly becomes quite tedious if you have to do the same steps over and over. In order to avoid having to constantly use the context menu just to add more files to an already existing report table, as you can see, there are also shortcuts specified in here. So Ctrl+1 would add a file to this particular report table, whereas Alt+1 would remove it from this particular report table. In this instance, since I'm already here, I might as well click Create, causing these two files to be added. But if I now pick out another file and press Ctrl+1, you can see the green triangle showing up for this one as well. And while I'm at it, I might just do it again. So as you can see, it is possible to create the same associations via a numeric shortcut, if you want it. As you can also see, there is a column called Report Table, which actually indicates the association with specific report tables. And as you can see, there are quite a few files listed as being in the Important Files group, or report table specifically. Now, it's not called a report table for nothing, so in order to benefit from this, we obviously want to now create a report. Go File, Create Report in the Case Data window, where it allows you to choose to have the so-called main report, which is essentially opening details about both the case and the items in the case, that is specifically the images I happen to have. I can then have an optional logo, optional report header, and indeed some optional opening remarks, all of which, as you can see, I've simply put in example text. But of course, you might either leave this blank or put in however much or little information you feel is required. More importantly, of course, for the purpose of what I am trying to do here, is to go with the Include Report Tables option, where, as you can see, my Important Files report table is already chosen. What will happen is the report table will be added to the report. That is, all the files in the report table will be listed in the report with as much or as little metadata as I choose in this box down here. If I also want to have the files themselves copied out and linked into this report, I need to make sure that I do choose to use that option here, Make Copy of Files for Inclusion in Report. With all of this already set, I simply click OK. It asks me where I wish to save that report and by what name. The suggested name, as you can see, is important files. If a report contains exactly one report table, X-Ways Forensics simply suggests the name of that report table as the name for the output, which is a perfectly fair suggestion for my purposes. I click on Save, and as soon as it is finished producing that report, I simply click OK, and the report opens in my default browser. As you can see, what it shows me is the optional header, my optional opening remarks. It also has the name of the case, various details about the case, including details about the various images in it. There is also in here a link straight to the report table. I click on that, and as you can see, my important files are being listed with as much or as little detail as I had chosen previously. And as you can also see, a scaled down version of each item in my report. If I were to click on one of these, they link to their proper size counterpart.